What do you guys think of interracial dating?
True.
I
But at
respect
the
the
same
man
time-
that can easily come out and say straight up, like, I'm not okay with just monogamy. Like, no, don't have an affair. I will stab you
so
to
then your
death.
energy is only for now.
You know?
I mean,
But you
what if
opening
you
that-
want to be 3 in the relationship?
What must the
We
third
are-
one
I
do?
think-
And
Yeah.
does body count matter? Guys, I haven't asked someone about their body count in like 3 years.
Why do you care? Why?
It's,
You know, like maybe I shouldn't text him for the 15th time.
that what she never listens to. You have to be very honest. But my favorite one was definitely send me your number so I can start planning our wedding. But you see, the problem is men will DM you these things and still go cheat. Within like the first 2-3 days, I got to know the guy. Guy literally sent me a message telling me, this was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before New Year's, and he told me if you behave before New Year's, I'll fly you out to Maldives. Like, I was tempted. He sent me a dick pic the next morning. Both very
Men will cheat no matter what you do.
No matter what you do.
You're just like poison, creeping in my system.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Cut Show. And today we've got 3 new faces. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi guys, my name is Valentina. I'm a law student at UCT. My sister and I work together. We're trying to start a couple businesses. Like to keep ourselves busy.
Hey guys, I'm Kim. I'm your new face and you'll see more of me. Maybe not here, but somewhere else. So look out for me. And yeah, I'm part of the entertainment industry, Bohemian Artist Management. So that's from me, Kim. Thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Charmont. I'm an interior designer or studying to be one. I endorse in multiple different charities and I take part in modeling.
Alright. So today we're here for Women's Day. And do you guys have any stories you want to share? Anything that like opens your eyes about Women's Day? Anything you feel it's like about?
First, happy Women's Day to
Women's
everyone.
Day.
I think women are so important. We don't get enough credit. So I'm happy we have a day to ourselves.
Yeah, definitely we are strong individuals and we have to divide ourselves many times in many roles. And yeah, it's important that we have that recognition and self-care. I was just in a Zoom meeting this morning, just talking about self-care as well for women and taking that time to do your nails, have some retail therapy.
I must say I'm very thankful for platforms like this because I think this is where women, you know, kind of get to say what it is that they want to say that we normally wouldn't. So yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
So earlier we were on the topic of being born again. You brought that up actually.
Yes.
And we weren't very open about it. Do you want to go on and tell us that again just so we can... Like just what it does, like it means to entail being born again, what you've changed, why you've changed it, you know, the core, you know, I feel like a lot of girls, especially at a young age, when you get to Cape Town, you know, you get a bit confused, you know, you're lost in the sauce, and for someone to actually take themselves out of that is a lot. So what made you like leave that?
Yeah, that situation, wow. I mean, I've been through a whole lot of mess and parties and all of that. And my mother always thought like, oh, is this child gonna come in a body bag one morning or like 4 o'clock and be
Our parents, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, you know, so in that stage, so yeah, I was discovering myself and then I realized that, wow, there's nothing to this. There's no happiness to having to be out all about meeting new people, or I like meeting new people, but for a different reason, and smoking weed or drinking too much. And yeah, I just added like 10 years to my face with drinking and smoking that time. And so I think everybody would want to reconsider that. But yeah, there's no fulfillment in that. And I enjoy my life now. I still do. Have time out with my friends.
Do you think it's like a temporary pleasure, like a momentary pleasure more than it is like long sustained one?
It is. I think sometimes you are just trying to find yourself too much in that places, in the wrong places.
In the wrong places.
I think
The
maybe
street's
not-
the wrong one, especially Long Street, guys. That was a problem.
That is.
I think maybe some people aren't necessarily trying to find themselves in that, but they're very much in the living in the now, you know, my life, I don't have so much time on this earth, so I might as well be doing what I love and tend to get lost.
You know, I was telling you I was considering changing the way I do things, because I mean I could reflect on my life and be like, there are some things I don't agree with. I want to do things better, and I always think what caused me to be in that situation. And like you're saying, it was like my friends were all going out, and that's why I like you saying you like platforms like this. I really do too, because you won't meet people like doing these kinds of things if you're always just going out. Like you have to put yourself in those situations to do different. Like all my friends, all they do is go out, and it started to like you're saying, it didn't feel fulfilling. I always felt like my time was just passed doing nothing, and just because that's what everyone's doing, going out all the time.
And you know, when you set plans, you know, to go out and you're busy working and the work is getting good, and then you have to like get dressed and it's like 2 hours and you have to be out for 4 hours. You're just like, damn, I just want to work.
But I think it's also a lot for especially people that are in university. I mean, you're only getting into this lifestyle now if you didn't, you know, take part in anything else prior.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's difficult, and once you feel like you have that time to kind of just let loose, breathe, you're going to take advantage of it, you know?
And you know, so for you it might be different. You've lived in Cape Town for your whole life, right? For us, we're from Namibia. Like Namibia's entire country population is half of Cape Town. It's a wow. Like, you know, we've met people from a lot bigger cities, you know, and they always tell us Cape Town's so small. I'm like, no, you don't know what small is. You come cross the border with me.
Yeah.
And you need to, like, when going out, guys, be safe. I mean, there's so much happening out there, and you want to have that person where you can rely on if you are ditched or you can't get home or anything like that. Literally, I had a situation where we were like, one friend ditched us in the club, and then we had to get our way home, back home. That was just
I have
something
heard
else.
too many stories like that. I've actually had beef with one of the club owners.
Yeah.
Won't name names.
names.
But I was telling them that there's no way to protect girls. I once saw a girl going into the wrong Uber, and the bouncer saw that she was going into the wrong Uber, and they were just like, I mean, shit. And like you said, so many people leave their friends like drunk, passed out on the couch. They don't do anything. Like,
No,
the
but
club is
girls,
really-
why are you peeing yourself drunk on the couch?
I mean, that shit happens, you know? Like, it takes one shot to go over the limit.
It really does, and especially if you don't have friends that are going to take care of you and be like, listen, get it together or we're going home.
Yeah.
No, but it says a lot about yourself. Like, if you're able to go and get so drunk. Listen, my New Year's 2019 to 2020, I knew there was going to be a global pandemic. I got to the club. It was so bad, guys. We got there. There were girls peeing themselves drunk on the couch. Like, we couldn't touch a whole section that was meant for us because there were girls who peed themselves passed out.
That was a good foreshadowing to 2020, though.
That was amazing. That
we
was
got
like
to the
whole
club
year.
and it was past, like, the night was done. We got there.
At 1 a.m. Okay, it wasn't done. It should have picked up, but it was just done because it was New Year's.
The whole night was done. There were things broken everywhere. Anyway, but the club is definitely a dangerous place. And people take that for granted, you know, like guys go there and feel safe and assume it's like they should just treat everyone the same, but they don't take into consideration the things girls go through at the club.
So you spoke about the safety tips, right?
Yeah.
Do you have like any specific safety tips you would like for the girls that still go out and watch this podcast? Like, would you like them to hear anything that you've experienced or that any of us have experienced that we can just like, you know,
To rely on. I
to
think
rely on? Go-tos, man.
definitely you need a go-to contact. Someone that you can call and know that this person will get me home. If you are too drunk as well or whatever, your friends as well that's with you, you need to know that, okay, this person's going to be with me, going to keep me safe and keep my things together as well. So either there needs to be one that's responsible if you are the wild one.
Or maybe possibly send your live location to someone that you really trust if you know today's gonna be a night. If you know it's gonna be one of them nights, then send your live location at least to someone that you trust.
Because there must be at least one person that knows your real
Where you-
location. That is so important, you know. With us in our family, you don't have to tell our parents, we don't have to tell anyone, but you need like one person must know where you are, you know. So yeah. And another thing I really suggest, girls, please tip your bouncers at the club. If it's a 10, if it's a 20, show them your gratitude. They're really there for important purposes.
They will come
And
through,
if
they
you're
will
going to
come
treat them bad, they're not going to care about you. Keep those guys good, you know. Even if you really can't put that extra 10 in, like if that's all you have, they appreciate it. It shows gratitude. That's like my thing, because like bouncers are watching out for you, and if they're on, they're very good people.
They'll do things like bring an umbrella when it's raining if you treat them right.
Yeah.
Treat them right.
My best advice for girls that go to the club so often they have these problems is to find different hobbies. Try different things. No, you know why I say this is because for a certain time I thought going out was the only significant way or like pastime, something like this is why I was saying it's important to have platforms like this, because most networking or socializing that we're shown is partying, especially in Namibia. We grew up only around people drinking. Like if we're socializing or not doing something serious, there's drinking involved, music. So it was a very specific kind of chill we are conditioned to enjoy. And I only recently found out I can enjoy different things. I mean, this is my first podcast and I really like doing things like this. Only through university I ever tried doing different things. Like before that, my immediate suggestion would be to go to the club. Yeah. So try something different, experiment.
But you know, I think the reason a lot of people like clubbing, right? It's just, we don't have places we can get dressed up like that for no reason. You know, if you go and dress up all maxed out to the club, to a restaurant, they're going to look at you like,
I don't care what you think. I'm in the wrong place. Like the
You
bad
know?
person that I know.
So I think that's a reason people enjoy it. And it's also just a place you can let go. You know? You can really let go.
I think then maybe try practicing other things like, I don't know, meditate, go on a walk, go to the gym. That's a great place to let go.
No. I go to the gym and hit the club after.
She do.
I did that yesterday.
This I am aware of.
But there's so many things that you can indulge in. You need to know like what's your passion. Like if it's planning a holiday so that you know with your friends you're gonna go out and still have a good space and good time. But yeah, that's
All right, so the guys, thanks guys, prepared us some questions. They're really good questions, I hope. And I think we should start with one of them,
yeah,
since they all changed now.
a good one.
Hopefully, because they're gonna waste our time. I kind of don't want to read this half that I've read already. Do young women need better role models?
I would definitely say yes. I mean,
You
I
can
think
see a
this-
man wrote these pieces of
It's actually an important question because, you know, we were talking about this earlier of like women are faced with the fact that there aren't many other women in positions of power, or I feel like our stories don't really get shared as much. So having someone, like I was telling you, like knowing, okay, this person's doing kind of what I like to do and they were able to do it, it gives you some sense of confidence that you'll also be able to do it. Like having like representation and seeing other people doing what you aspire to do.
I need a thought process.
Yes, you can tell, hey?
You don't agree?
I disagree.
I kind of disagree, Val. You know, I think everyone's influences are created by who they are raised by. And, you know, your
Is that not a role
influences-
model though?
But our role models are different to our role models, you know? It doesn't...
Let me see the question.
You know,
Do you? Do young women need better role models?
Like, you know, not everyone has like a Martha Stewart and a Kim Kardashian that we can look up to, you know, in their lives. Those women do exist. We have them as like general role models, but the core of where women come from is their culture. Like we mentioned on the other show, it's our culture, it's where we come from, it's our background, it's our morals that we were raised with, you know? These morals are different to everyone. So how can we say a woman need better role models when it's what our parents have raised us as?
And not only that, they've raised us as that only because they don't know better. So I don't think we can say that, you know, they need different role models. I think once you're at a certain age, you feel like you gravitate towards certain things, you know? So then it's like, oh no, I look up to this person and I feel like I can, you know, look up to this person to do X, Y, and Z. It's not necessarily saying that, you know, my role model can only be within my household. Yes, to a certain age, it is because you don't know better. But once you do and once you step into that becoming a woman, I feel like you really choose.
So, you know, for me, or not for me, but there was something, I was in high school and one of my teachers told me, we were having a discussion and she said, I love asking you guys your opinions, but unfortunately, your opinions are what your household has raised you to say. You know, it's until we don't become 23, 24, like, you know, Charmont is 20 now, right? 21. Charmont is 21 now. It's the first time she's living alone. You know, she's only developing her true characteristics now. You know, before it was her household, her mom, her sisters, and, you know, the people who have raised her, her uncles, her aunts, you know. With Val and I, it's like that. I'm sure with you it was like that too. Only once you actually left the household and left the circle of flamingos raising you, you know, it's, you can't say that because it's really rude. You guys are rude.
Violation.
That's what Charmont has just mentioned as they don't know better. It's like
we'll forgive them
until
for
you
not knowing
have
better.
to mention that and bring that up. Like this doesn't fly with me anymore. Like it used to fly in your generation, but not in
And
ours.
generations are changing so rapidly. You know, Charmont said the thing about, you know, it's how our parents raise us. They don't know how to raise us, but you know, childcare becomes so specific every year. You know, back then they don't have all the child products we have now, you know? So to an extent, I think if you're waiting 30 years to raise your grandchild, you know, say now, let's just take, you're pregnant, right? Charmont is pregnant and her mom now wants to be a hands-on mom. Charmont, you're the closest one to such things. You know? So she's raising the baby and now all of a sudden the mom wants to take over because now she knows she's been doing this before, she's done it before, we must do it her way. But you know, is it really her way? Because it was 30 years ago. It wasn't like it was 16 years ago, she's a child. You know, it was 30 years ago. The world has developed. We have different strollers, positions. Everything is more like specific. So it could really change. I'm not saying that our elder generation don't know how to make a baby stop crying. Please, mom, kick in if that ever happens. Like, take the child away. But you know, I think it changes. And that's why everyone needs to go through it themselves. And that's how your role models come. Please, if your mom is a drug addicted, I'm sorry that you had a bad role model. But the world is better than that.
Maybe it's not a bad role model. Maybe she's showing you what not to do. I mean, you shouldn't always just look at it like, you know, she's doing this, I have to do this.
So then what does bad and good role model define if a drug addicted mom that abandoned you isn't one?
I'd like to defend my point again. This question says, do we need better role models?
Yeah.
Lawyer.
I have to bring the lawyer out.
Do you think we need better role models?
I do think so. Like you guys are saying, of course, you're born in whatever circumstance you're born in, and that causes you to be a certain way, and you can't blame anyone for being a product of their environment. And like you're saying, okay, cool, you move out, you learn your own things, you learn about yourself, but like, what if you didn't need to go through all those hard things? Like, someone could just teach you. I'm using this because I'm saying when I was younger, I think I've done some really crazy things when I was younger, like, and I wish I had a role model to, you know, give me some guidance in those situations, or maybe like you could get a lot of value from seeing how someone would react in that situation or do something differently, you know, like, and I learned from like these, I spend a lot of time with them. I learn from them a lot, like see how they would respond to things. I'm like, okay, I really like that, you know, and I do think it's good to have good role models because it does a lot for your development.
Sorry for cutting you short, but you know, you and I, especially living in Namibia, all our role models were male. If we were to have had more elder females in our lives, like, you know, if we were to spend more time with like Angela, or, you know, if we spent more time with Fenny or something like that, you know, our views would have been a lot different than spending it with the guys we were always partying with, you know? We'd like, they were just our friends, you know, we'd go out, we'd chill with them. But this is exactly, it was a masculine view of
exactly life. Why I said I needed better role models in that time, because there was no one who cared about me or was doing something I aspired to or saw as like where I want to be. All I was around with is guys that partied too much and disrespected women, and I do think that affected what I did and the things I found interesting, and I'm having to unlearn a lot of those things right now. And I personally think if I had a better role model back then, I would not have made a lot of the mistakes I've made.
But wouldn't you say that you're thankful for what you experienced way back when? Because now, stepping into the woman that you are now, you're going to tell yourself, I'm not going to do those certain things, you know?
Well, I learned those lessons, but they're heavy, you know? Like, I have a lot to deal with. I've had so many regrets. Like, I had to really deal with those things and get over them. Like this, I'm trying to guide my little sister, you know, like be a role model to her and doing what I wish I had, because it really is a lot to deal with and it was difficult. I would say even now I'm not over it yet. So I do think better role models are necessary.
Yeah, and like you're saying, you're guiding your sister, but it's also at times it's like everybody experience their own journey and they will do what they want every time, even if we say yes or don't do it.
That is so much. That is very true. But go.
What I always tell my mom is, because like we're assisting in raising my cousins, and what I always tell her is, you aren't raising these kids for you, you're raising them for the world. So you need to know that once you put them out there, you're comfortable with what you've raised and that they'll be able to cope. It's not, you know, because parents, they want to hide you from so much hurt.
They do.
That the world is experiencing. So I feel like a lot of the kids that, you know, have been protected from so much, once they step out into the world, they're confused. Yeah. They mess up and to them it's normal because they weren't told, you know, don't do this, the world is cruel. They were put in this bubble.
You know, your parents can't write a book that says, Valentina, if you drink 4 drinks of Hennessy and 1 of tequila, it will be a bad. But my dad always used to give us tips, you know, like, you know, my dad would give us like little tips. He'd be like, Alessia, if you go out, if you start with 1 drink, you stick to that drink. Because when a boy starts giving you many drinks, it's because he wants to get you drunk. So, you know, they do try and give us tips, but they can't hold our hand throughout the whole thing, you know?
And on that, like my dad always said, don't take someone from the club. Like, don't date anybody from the club. There's a reason they will stay in the club. You will have problems.
Yeah, listen, this last night, my heart got broken. Shame.
You know, we'll get over it.
We'll get over it, guys. It's a cold world. It's so sad, but we'll move forward.
But you were saying your heart got broken?
Oh, no, my heart's done. It's out of the picture. Someone sent us bottles. We got over it.
Okay, we got over it. Do you want to...
This is also a topic we were speaking about earlier, was the clubbing. Like, so when you go out, right? Because let's be honest, in a normal 20-year-old, a lot of us do go out to socialize. That's where we find people we wouldn't normally find or bump into our normal, usual day-to-day lives, you know? I can go out and meet a fine Ethiopian man and be like, damn. you know? But I can't meet them everywhere, so it's a good place. So what do you guys consider as flirting at the club? Like, what are you okay with? What aren't you okay with, you know? Like,
This is like respectful flirting.
like, what do you think is respectful flirting? What do you think is just like a hookup? Like,
Let me tell you what's
one-night
not
stand vibes?
respectful is grabbing anywhere.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Touch me.
Don't touch me.
Also, don't get a bouncer to harass me. Like,
Yeah.
what's your problem?
What's your problem?
Yo, those harassments better come with chicks, bro.
Ugh. And they don't. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Anyway.
I want to choose our next.
You want to choose our next one?
Yeah. Let's
Let it be a good one.
let it be a good one. Juicy.
Okay.
Married it. For Charmont. Would you consider OnlyFans? Hard beliefs go.
Because I had a fake account created. It wasn't me. A fake account created. But I would not suggest it. But if that's your hustle, that's your hustle. I ain't gonna judge.
I agree.
Because, I mean, there's some people... You just need to be comfortable with what you're putting out, I think, in 5 years. If you know that you're not going to be comfortable with the decisions that you're making now in 5 years, something like OnlyFans, that's major. Like, if you want to become a lawyer, just know that it's going to haunt you.
You know, I think this is where we get back to the role models. I would have said probably my younger life, I used to look up to people like saying.
But don't make the decision just based on $1. Like, you know,
Listen.
know
Yeah.
your self-worth as well.
I've been looking at the Forbes list a lot, and I spent a bit of time reading like everyone's names, their backgrounds, their professions, and no one was a porn star. Like Kim Kardashian came close, but she was not a porn star on that list. You don't have anyone in the adult entertainment
Get you a
industry.
girl that can do both.
The whole what? No, man. No. Like, I understand if you're really like needed and you do make like that $1, it's fine. But consider it. Think of it. Like, think about it. And look at people that are in their 70s that still find joy in it and pride in it. Like, you know? Not everyone is
I
a
would
you
love
hit
to
now.
be able to not care at all though. You know, like personally I like taking sexy pictures, even videos I would take that, but usually I just keep them on my phone now. Like that doesn't mean I don't take them. But
I think I've sent like 2 nudes in my whole life, and they were just of my boobs.
But
Like,
see, this
maybe.
is what I'm saying.
I've
Like,
never.
I really
I
enjoy
can't.
it, and I can believe that people really enjoy that, and they find like fulfillment or passion in doing that, making videos. And if that's them, and they're making a whole lot of money from it, like
Yeah, no. If you're
you're
making money
slaying at
from it,
life. So I can understand someone would have that and enjoy it, but
as Paris Hilton
you
would
always
say,
have to
slipping.
consider, and this is like very topical to Women's Day. Like women are faced with these things, you know, like they're sexualized and could find empowerment from that. Like, okay, I'm sexy, people find me attractive and want to express themselves in that way. But then when they do, they like get criticized for it. I feel like women deal with those things a lot.
They deal with a lot because men are trash.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Do you want to...
I'll definitely. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, no. They must fire the person that wrote these.
I think they're pretty good.
Okay.
You can tell a man wrote them. but-
Yeah, you can tell a man wrote them. OnlyFans, guys?
This is going to be very formal. Do we need more women in federal parliament? It's okay.
Valentina. So actually Namibia has not only implemented a lot of women in parliament, but they've also implemented a lot of youthful women in parliament. So there's nothing I love more than the concept. And, you know, we're having a big movement in Namibia right now about the older. So we have an older political party and then we have the youth political party. So the youth political party is receiving a lot of backlash from the elders because of gay rights, things like, you know, legalizing marijuana, you know, alcohol legalization based on
It's a
whims.
Christian country.
You know, it's a very Christian country, so we are a lot more free, but we have a lot of suppression from the elders politically. So,
Miss Lawyer.
Lawyer, take it
She
away.
actually, right before you said she doesn't want it to get too political. So now we're throwing politics in you for her.
Actually, I think this is actually a good topic. Women definitely need to be involved in parliament because if you think about their role, parliament this debates new laws, policies. So you would want people to share your opinion and represent you. For example, if there's a 70-year-old average parliament and they're all men, it's unlikely that they'll consider something like experiences only women have. So I think in that sense it's really important so they can be a voice for you in those important platforms.
And Women's Day, actually, we were reading up about this. So Women's Day started because there was a protest that happened annually for women to throw away their passport.
They were protesting past laws.
So, women always had to go, but they had to sign a book and everything. So this is actually a very good topic, In the parliament back then, there weren't females, So it's something that's slowly becoming more and more accepted, especially politically, for them to have had a whole day of movement for it.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with this topic, it's important, especially with the young girls in schools and needing basic sanitation, sanitary pads.
Exactly.
And that is so important for, it would come from a woman to implement this and those thoughts behind that. To initiate.
That is really a good point. If you think about it, there are condoms in most schools, but no pads, no tampons.
And, that is really a wrong mentality to raise people with, How can I give condoms out for free? Okay, we do live in Southern Africa, which has the highest HIV and AIDS,
occurrence.
In the world. So it's important. It's very, 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 very important that you guys wear condoms.
Small things like that just reflect the kinds of decisions that were made,
and the mentality we accept.
It places different value on things. So I think, like you're saying, if more women were in parliament in that, or making decisions in that case, they might have considered.
But South Africa actually just passed the law, right, to give free sanitary products out in public places. It's very new, like a month and a half, 2 months ago. But this also brings into the first question we had.
Role models.
Was the role models, If we were to have a lot more female politicians that would help guide our society, we wouldn't just have condoms in our bathrooms. We'd have pads too, We would have instructions on girls on how to wash their intimate parts because it's a bit more complicated than a man's, We would have to have this health school that doesn't just teach you how to have sex. It teaches you how to clean your body when you're menstruating, We have sex ed classes, but our health is so far off from a woman's.
Would you say that your immediate reaction is that a parliamentarian is a man job? Would you say that?
The way society has painted it out, because
an old man.
If you imagine a child considering being in parliament, do you think a girl child would associate themselves with that role?
I don't think they would.
I think it's about mentality, Now it's changing. So if you have the mentality to fight in a parliament, then go for it. But if you have that mentality of, I'm wishy-washy, I'll let people overrun me, then it's a problem. But if you are someone like my sister would thrive in parliament, this girl's going to tell you what law you're creating. You're not even
going to tell her anything. Let me just
because I was thinking my little sister, cousin sister, we were telling her the other day, she said she wants three birthday presents. We were like, okay, you can either choose a party or a present. She's like, okay, fine, so I'll just work and I'll earn my own money for the car, I'll buy it myself.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, sis. She's like, yeah, and I'm gonna be the boss. And I was like, yes, you go girl.
Yeah, my little sister, she's a boss.
And I'm pretty sure that's because her mother always talks about working, dealing with things, sorting things out. She probably sees that from us. We always just suggest let's do it ourselves or we can do something. So I think it is important to have women in parliament, because if someone does have that interest, they'll be like, okay, yeah, I want to be just like that.
And you know, especially with my little sister, Abby is her name. She's like she sees us party and then she sees us working all day, you know, so she's got this mentality of you must go party, but you have to get to office. Like, you need to get there.
Get your homework done.
Get your homework done. Her homework's always done. I've never ever heard of her. She does it alone. She comes to tell you, no, it's done already, don't worry.
Okay, sis.
Alright.
Okay, sis.
So, Charmont, do you want to take another one so you can continue?
I will do this. Why am I anxious?
Don't be.
I know one word and
spicy.
it's stressing me out. Oh, Lord.
What does it say?
These things are
things
folded
were
really
really
well.
folded.
They were scared we were going to peek before. We didn't peek.
Yeah.
We didn't see.
Look at the
Oh my
security
God.
on these things.
Why does this have me livid? Women belong in the kitchen / housewife.
No, these were men. So, housewives. Some girls actually apparently want to become housewives. If there's a rich man out there that wants a housewife, file your applications to the Cut Show, please, because there are a lot of
Please do.
women out here that need you. We will put you on a program, and we will find you a housewife, because clearly ambition isn't what
I'm
you like.
upset because someone actually said this to me once.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Before I...
let's be honest. If someone was to tell me, here's $20 million US, don't have to work a day in your life again, just like have my children and chill at
Belong in
home,
the kitchen.
go cheat. Go to your other wives. Leave me alone.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you know, go enjoy your life. If I can be a
Your
housewife,
thoughts, Charmont?
It really has me upset because I love cooking, so I'm always cooking.
yeah, I'm always also.
Especially for people I care about, because it's a love language, acts of service. Get into it. Anyway,
Boys.
but
I don't enjoy
I
cooking for men.
was. I have brothers, so I mean, it is
No,
what it is.
I don't mind cooking for family.
Yeah,
But I have a problem cooking for guys. Like, even if I like the guy a lot, like, I just don't want to cook for
I mean, then
That expectation.
but
Your thoughts.
I was standing in the kitchen, and a bunch of their friends came by, and they were like, "Yeah, no, a woman belongs in the kitchen. Do what you're supposed to do." I said, "Sorry, what?"
Come
I had
again.
to stand still for a second because I had to comprehend.
So that one I'd have to comprehend also, because we're about to fight. What do you mean?
I do think
We're
that
about to fight.
I do think that a woman makes a house a home.
Yes.
That I
A
do
woman
think.
makes a house a home.
But this whole I belong in the kitchen, cook your own damn food. I ain't gonna do nothing for you. If you
I
gonna
know-
tell me I belong in the kitchen, you gonna make your own food, or you gonna order your Nando's. And you're gonna eat it alone outside.
No,
in
you're
the
ordering
cold.
us Nando's. What do you mean?
No, because I'm cooking for myself. You can do whatever you want to do since you said I belong in the kitchen.
I want Nando's too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
That
A
triggered
woman
me
makes a
lot.
house a home. That was a very, very good point to make, because you've got some women that they don't cut it. Still texting her.
My problem with this is that some men genuinely believe if you're not doing that, you have no value as a woman. And Al and I were talking about this before also. This is where kind of like clashes with like becoming more liberal, whatever, women achieving things, because you have a double expectation of you have to care for the house. Like you're saying, women definitely make a house a home, and they have that responsibility. In a lot of cultures, they have that responsibility to make sure the children are dressed and fed and
But
looked
is that part of a
after.
home?
I would say so. So limiting them to that, it is a little degrading, I think.
Question.
I think, like, I mean, you can have a woman
What's
that
the
cooks.
question again?
A woman.
Oh,
belongs
yes.
in the kitchen.
A woman belongs in the kitchen.
Belongs.
It said belong. Period. Period.
But that's like saying a woman belongs to a man. Like, just because we pay la bola. You're still gonna pay the la bola, my
Tell
dear.
him.
I mean, I'm educated. I can cook. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. Obviously, you go
Look at
pay.
this.
Come on now. What you thought?
You're not gonna tell
You
me
know
I
you're
belong
gonna
in the
pay.
kitchen.
now.
You know you're gonna pay. I can't wait to go to the north for that one.
But it shouldn't be the only attribute. I mean, like, cooking as
Yeah.
that this defines a woman, and because you're a woman and you can cook, then you are the perfect woman.
But
no,
you know, some men also like to cook.
they
That
do.
is true.
They're not.
I want to find them.
Yeah,
You don't have to.
You'll look for long. Let me just tell you.
I don't think I've really had a guy cook for me before. I don't think there's a guy that I can say, oh, this man cooked for me.
Yeah, I have.
I have. It's nice.
I'm
doing things wrong here.
Yeah.
Okay, normally they start cooking and I'm just like, nah, this isn't going well. Let me do it.
You're not gonna eat in this house.
We're not. No, some guys clearly just say it to impress you.
Yeah.
And then you can see it's going wrong. You're just like,
I guess it's the thought that counts.
it's the thought
What
that
triggers
counts.
me about this
No,
sentence
that
is
is
the
that it
fact.
wasn't
No, no,
written
no.
by a man.
No, but, well, I mean, we'll
said
deal with
belong.
that. It says belongs, kind of like the only use we can have is in the kitchen. And I think this is the kind of mentality that excludes women from important decisions or conversations, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been in a lot of situations where I just felt like no one was listening to me because they're only guys. They're like, okay, we're the ones here. You could make some contribution, but probably won't even be that serious. Like the only thing you can do or that like your field is in the kitchen.
So,
I don't like that.
You know, like we said, women make a house a home. So what would happen to people like a woman that has infertility problems? Would you guys consider adopting? Are you guys okay with having children? Like, which ones do you prefer? Like,
I mean,
is adoption open to you if you can't have kids because now woman is what makes a house a home?
I mean,
a woman makes a house a home. You don't necessarily have to have kids within that home, I think.
do you think there's some expectation on women to have children or like some
Well,
disregard if they don't? Like, okay, you're not that
You know, I think
useful.
that's a very big thing that needs to be stated before an official relationship starts. You know, you need to know, like I said, I wasted 5 years with someone, 4 years with someone. And
If
when
you're
I
hearing
was,
this, we're sorry.
we are not sorry.
I think the weirdest DM I've gotten is someone telling me I must have a mental illness because I was posting while ignoring their message. No, yeah, I think if there's one thing any male viewer is taking away, if she didn't answer your DM, she won't. You know, girls act hard, but like I was saying, there has been a time that I was ignoring a guy's DMs and then met him in person and really liked him.
I tell you now, just take your L and keep it stepping.
Yes, this
Because
one's
can I
quite
tell you
funny,
something? Your life is gonna be the same way it was before you DM me if I ignore you. So keep it stepping. I know that when we got that message from Instagram saying this message is no longer available, we know exactly who it was
because
no
we knew
longer available.
Would you guys date a married man? I really would.
It is your life.
Date a married man.